I was probably way too old to admit this, but the phrase, "it is pitch black, you are likely to be eaten by a grue," it used to give me actual chills.
Oh, absolutely.
And what's wild is that all of that terror, that whole world, it was just pure text, no
Mhm.
graphics, not even a joystick, just your imagination.
And some incredibly smart code.
Exactly. So today, we're diving into what is, I think, a monumental moment in digital history. The original source code for Zork 1, 2, and 3 is officially open source.
It's huge.
And this isn't just about nostalgia. We're talking about a critical act of preservation.
It really is. And the fascinating thing about Zork wasn't just the fantasy setting, it was the interface. When it came out in 1977 from those MIT developers,
Anderson, Blank, Daniels, and Liebling.
right, interactive fiction was still pretty clunky. You could maybe type 2 words, go north, get lamp.
Yeah, that's what blew my mind. With Zork, you could type actual sentences.
You really could. You could manage prepositional phrases, multiple objects, put the lamp and sword in the case.
Yeah.
And the game just understood.
And it worked.
It worked. And that was a revolutionary challenge, simulating a world that could react intelligently to complex human language.
So I'm still trying to wrap my head around the technical side of it. How did they take this massive program, something built for a huge PDP-10 mainframe,
Yeah.
and then shrink it to run on, what, an early home computer with maybe 64K of memory?
So they used a solution that was, frankly, genius. It pioneered a concept we rely on every single day. The virtual machine. They invented something they called the Z machine.
A VM back in the 70s.
Exactly. They wrote the game in their own language, ZIL, the Zork implementation language, and that compiled down into a specialized bytecode.
Okay, I think I'm following.
So the Z machine was just a little interpreter that they could port to any computer, Apple IIs, Commodores, IBM PCs. It didn't matter.
Just basically, write once, run anywhere.
Decades before Java made that famous, yes. It made Zork truly cross-platform, which is why it was such a massive success.
And what a success. I saw a number, 680,000 copies sold by 1986. For a text game, that's just staggering.
It is. And that's why the Library of Congress added it to the game canon back in 2007. It's foundational code.
Which is why this new release is so important.
Absolutely. That foundational status is exactly why Microsoft, Team Xbox, and Activision did this. They released it under the MIT license, which is very permissive. It's an educational mission, first and foremost.
So it's about putting this historically critical code into the hands of students.
And developers, yeah, so they can study how these early giants solved just massive problems of scale and compatibility with almost no resources.
And that preservation effort, it was a real collaboration, right? They worked with Jason Scott of the Internet Archive.
They did, to get it right.
Speaking of that kind of foundational expertise, just like these tech giants needed help to properly archive that clever Z machine architecture, if you need help uncovering where new AI agents could make the most impact for your business, whether for training, automation, or software development, you really need expert guidance. Check out embersilk.com for all your AI needs.
So for any developers listening who want to dive in, the good news is you don't need a vintage mainframe in your garage.
That's a relief.
Yeah, you just use modern open source tools. You compile the ZIL files with something called the ZILF compiler.
Okay.
And then you run the output, the bytecode, through a Z machine runner like Frotz. It's all readily available. It keeps this history alive and playable.
That accessibility is just amazing. It means we don't lose this ingenuity to time.
That's it, exactly. The whole structure of Zork, this imaginative world built on a super lightweight, platform-agnostic virtual machine, it's just a profound reminder.
A reminder of what?
That sometimes the most clever engineering is also the most durable. That simple text and smart architecture can outlast generations of hardware. And that gives us a really hopeful model for how we preserve digital culture for the future.
If you enjoyed this deep dive into the great underground empire, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.